What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sports Degenerate Podcast. We got another waiver wire show for week 7. For the people that are new, I post a separate episode for each position. So whether you're listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, check out my page. There is a separate episode for quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Let's hop into it. I have 6 wide receivers for you guys. All of these players are 33% rostered or less, so they should be pretty available in your leagues. My number 1 wide receiver pickup for week 7 is Juju Smith-Schuster. He was on the waiver wire list last week, and I'm going to say the same thing I said last week. As long as Juju is healthy, he is going to be a solid wide receiver in your lineup. He is going to play the Rashee Rice role in that Chiefs offense because Juju is a similar player to Rice. At this point in his career, Juju is slower than Rice, but similar player, a big receiver with good hands that breaks tackles after the catch. But we all know Juju is probably going to get hurt at some point in this season, but as long as he is healthy, I like Juju as a wide receiver too. Number 2 pickup is Demario Douglas for the Patriots. So Douglas finally got some decent quarterback play in week 6. Rookie quarterback Drake May started his first game, and May didn't have the best game, but he showed that he can make the Patriots offense look like an NFL offense. Douglas got 9 targets and 6 catches. I think that's around the volume he will get each week as long as Drake May plays. So that is a solid player in fantasy. Number 3 is Romeo Doubs. So Doubs had a good game in week 6 with 19 points, and he is on an elite offense in the Packers. So he has weekly upside because that offense is so good, it produces so many touchdowns. The only problem is that there is a lot of competition for targets because Jaden Reed and Christian Watson are still playing. They're still getting targets. So Doubs won't be consistent every single week, but I would take my chances with him just because that offense is so good. He can have a good game any given week. Number 4 is Xavier Legette for the Panthers. He's been on the waiver wire list for weeks, and I will say what I've been saying. If the Panthers have a decent matchup, he is a decent start because Andy Dalton performs well as long as Andy Dalton is playing a good matchup. The only time Andy Dalton doesn't play good is against a good defense. Good thing the Panthers play the Commanders, who are not a good defense at all, so Legette is a solid start for week 7. Number 5 is Michael Wilson for the Cardinals. He's also been on the waiver wire list multiple times, and he's been a solid fantasy player this year. He has 3 games over 10 points so far. And Marvin Harrison might not play this week because Harrison had a concussion last week, which would open up more targets for Wilson. But let's say Harrison does play. I don't think it matters because Kyler has still been giving Wilson consistent volume every single week. The only bad thing about Wilson for week 7 is that the Cardinals play the Chargers, who are an elite defense. The last wide receiver we have is Tutu Atwell for the Rams. So it looks like Cooper Kupp is going to come back this week, but I still think Tutu gets some playing time because he gives the Rams a speed element to their game, and Tutu already has rapport with Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. Atwell has been solid this year. He's had 3 straight games over 10 points. The Rams also play the Raiders, who are a great matchup. So if you need a wide receiver, I don't mind Atwell as a flex. I also want to bring up some streaming defenses for you guys. I have 3 options. All of them also 33% rostered or less, so pretty available. Number 1 is the Bengals. They play the Browns, who might be the worst offense in the NFL, and the Browns have allowed the most sacks in the NFL, which is great for fantasy. And the Bengals defense looked pretty good last week against the Giants. Number 2 is the Bills. The Bills aren't a super elite defense, but they have shown to be a pretty good defense. They gave the Jets problems in week 6. Now they play the Titans, who don't have an NFL starting quarterback on their roster. Both of those quarterbacks are not starting level quarterbacks. Number 3 is the Packers. They don't have a good matchup. They play the Texans, who good quarterback, good offense, so not a good matchup. But at this point, we have to consider the Packers as a good defense. They have had at least one turnover in all 6 games, and in some games, multiple turnovers. So I think we keep riding the momentum. I still would rather have the Bills and Bengals because they have better matchups, but I don't mind the Packers. So those are 3 streaming defenses for you guys. Like I said, I have a separate waiver wire episode for each position. So go check all of them out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I love all of you.